go ahead and get started. Folks, thank you all for joining us tonight for this webinar presentation on technology here at the University of Missouri. My name is David Riley with the Office of New Student Programs, and I'll be serving as your host for the evening. Just a couple quick announcements. For those of you who are not familiar with a Zoom webinar format, that is what we're using tonight. So if you can't see yourself, that's fine. That's the way it should be. The only folks you'll be able to see tonight are your presenters. We've also disabled the chat feature this evening, but you will be able to use the Q&A feature if you have questions that you would like to submit to our panelists. Now, you did have the opportunity to submit questions prior to this evening. We have received those questions. Our panelists have reviewed those. They've worked many of those into their presentation. And then they've also got a little time at the end to cover a couple of those questions that didn't fit into the natural flow of their presentation. And so with that said, I believe I've covered all of my little announcements beforehand. And so we're going to go ahead and start with introductions for our panelists. And so Brittany, we'll have you kick it off.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brittany Hilbrand. I'm a Strategic Communication Associate for the Mizzou IT, and I'd like to welcome you to our Tech Talk this evening. We know that throughout the course of your college career, you'll have varying levels of interaction with our IT techs, our trainers, and our services. And we'd like to offer our students, we can offer our students more than 1,000 PCs on campus. There's free and discounted software, free tech support, and more. And this is all so that you know we're working hard to keep you connected, no matter whether you're living on campus or taking an online course. As you can see, our website offers a host of services and resources that will come in handy throughout your journey. Take advantage of those resources like Print Anywhere software and literally print on the go to a variety of printers across campus. Another popular service is Software Anywhere, which allows you to run apps remotely from your laptop, no matter where you are, as long as you're in an eligible class. During this webinar, you'll hear from a few of our IT experts on topics like free tech support, Tiger Tech, computer purchasing options, auto access, campus resources, software, training resources, and how to get in contact with us. Tonight, our panel consists of a few members of Tiger Tech, Jessica Finley, and Aaron Lightfoot, as well as our M365 trainer, Greg Kelly. This training is being recorded and will be available later to watch right here on the New Student Programs webpage under webinars. As David said, we'll have a host of FAQs throughout the presentation, but still feel free to submit additional questions through our Q&A. And I'll hand it off to Aaron.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aaron Lightfoot. I am the manager of Tiger Tech inside the Mizzou store. It's located inside the Student Center, and there we offer several resources for purchasing your technology, because in this day and age, a computer is absolutely vital for any student who's going to be going to any kind of university. There's many things that you can do to do this, but we wanted to break down and show you what some of your options are going to be for that. So we have payment options that include student charge that are going to be able to tackle up to $1,250 per semester. Now, this is kind of a finicky one because that $1,250 can also be used on purchasing your books. And if you were to, you cannot go over that limit. And even if you were to purchase it and pay off that $1,250, you will not get the $1,250 back until the next semester. If you wanted to, you can actually use a purchase plan. Now, this takes a tech device of your choice, a warranty of either 3 or 4 years, and you have to have an administration fee of 7.8%. But what it does is it calculates all that together in a bundle for you, and then it spreads that out over 4 semesters. So that way it makes it easier for someone to afford a computer that they may need. We also offer educational discounts on everything, so it depends on what the model is, but generally speaking, you're looking at about $100 to $200 off, depending on what version the model is. We actually have on site, our Apple computers will show you what the retail price is versus what we charge the students for. Now, no matter what you're going to be getting, make sure to get a warranty. We see it all the time. A student will come in and they carry their backpack around campus while it was raining. It might even just been a sprinkle. and they didn't think they needed an umbrella, but their backpack soaked up all that rain. One of the things that our warranties do cover is water damage. There's some other things that are there. Generally speaking, you're going to be looking at everything except for theft, fires, and viruses. If you have a MacBook, generally you won't ever have to worry about a virus. If you have homeowners insurance or renter's insurance, you're generally covered with theft. So fire is really kind of an odd thing to have to worry about, but generally speaking, you're going to be pretty much covered with anything that you have. When your student brings that warranty in, the device in for the warranty, they check it with their student ID number and the serial number, so you don't have to worry about any kind of paperwork. If for whatever reason your device has to be in the shop for a couple days, our technicians will actually give you a laptop for a while, so that way you don't actually miss out on having any kind of device. When it comes to what kind of technology we recommend for Mac users to be using monitoring, and Windows to be using at least Windows 10. The memory in the space, generally speaking, you're going to be looking at 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of hard drive space. You may think you need more space, but as you will find out later on, it will be beneficial for you to just get the minimum, because it actually, your student will have more access to more memory. And you will hear more about that later on in the presentation. But most computers nowadays only come with solid state drives, so you don't have to worry about it usually about choosing SSD or hard drive disks. But SSDs are generally the way to go because they are much more efficient. When it comes to it, we do get asked a lot of questions about, should I get an iPad, or should I use my iPad, my Android, or my student used a Chromebook all the way through high school. Can you use it? Can they use it during college? And generally the answer to that is no. Most required applications are not great for those. Chromebooks will not actually even work on campus Wi-Fi. And then there's some things that you can use your iPad for during class, like taking notes and doing drawings or sketching or whatever you need to do for whatever your classes are, but it will not really replace the need for having a laptop. With that being said, there are some things that you can use your devices for, and one of the biggest ones is auto access. As we are moving more and more to the digital central age, we are starting to see a lot of changes to what the students will be getting as far as materials for the courses would be considered. Their auto accesses are considered a collaboration between the publisher, the Mizzou store, and the professor in order to automatically give your student access to everything that they need for their class digitally. Now, these are things that will be usable, and they'll automatically be charged to your account, so you won't have to worry about canceling or even signing up for it. Some questions that we have brought up about, though, are like, how would you know if you need an auto access material for a class? And that's just determined by what class you have, and the store itself will designate what it is, what classes. Generally speaking, most classes will have a mix, but generally speaking, if they're all going to be there, you're going to see it immediately. So if you're asked, why are you automatically being charged? Well, it's a class that has auto access. And like I said, the auto access is automatically accessible. Because of that, you're automatically enrolled. If you were to drop that class, though, you would actually, as long as you dropped it before the official ad drop date, you will actually not be charged for the material of the course. It's really handy. So you don't have to really worry about getting into something where you're not 100% sure if you're really going to need it. As long as you're aware of what the official ad drop date is, you should be taken care of. Some general FAQ questions that we get brought up to us is, how do you use your auto access? Which, as it suggests, it is automatically accessible through Canvas. You will see your emails when you notify you about course details and how to access each program. Generally speaking, everything you're going to need is going to be on the very front page of your Canvas for your class. Your professors, generally speaking, have a section that's lined out for everything that you're going to need, so it's kind of already separated from everything else. I get asked every single day, what computer would best fit the course? This is a difficult question to answer because it depends on what the major is going to be. If you're going to be looking at something like journalism, you're going to be looking more towards a Mac computer. If you're looking towards engineering, you're going to be looking more towards Windows operating systems. Outside of that, you're generally speaking pretty free to choose what you want. There are a few restrictions here and there, but one of the things that I pride myself on with the students that I work with is that we have a vast variety of majors that are being represented between my students. We have a business major, a nursing major, a journalism major. There's just a biology major, and we've had, I believe there was a music major in there recently, but we've had multiple students who have done multiple different things. So I would always recommend just reach out to us, come in the store, email us, call us. We'll do what we can to make sure we get you the best machine for you. Now, the other question we get asked is, if you don't get your computer at Mizzou, can you still get the warranty for your device? And the answer to that is actually yes. If you can go to any tech store and you buy whatever computer you're looking for, you can get it as long as you can, within a year, bring it into us, let us check it out by our, so we can have it looked at by our technicians. So that way we can verify there's no pre-existing conditions, and we have to have the original receipt that has a serial number on it. If those are all good, then you can absolutely purchase any kind of warranty you want from us. So that way you can get the help that you need while you're here on campus. If, like I said, if there's any other issues, generally speaking, if there's something like, because if you bring in something like an HP laptop, we generally will just ship that off with our warranty and get it taken care of by CPS, which is a warranty coverage that we use. Because we only sell Apple and Dell computers at our store. That is because we have an Apple and Dell certified technician in. But you're always welcome to get whatever computer you think is best for you, as long as you are aware that the fact that it should match the course materials that you should need. We also offer a guideline called Let Your Major Be Your Guide that tells you kind of a brief overview of what kind of computer you should be looking for. But sometimes, even in that guide, there's some stipulations here and there. So like I said, just always reach out to us and we will make sure to get you the absolute right thing for you. But that would be everything that I have to cover for Tiger Tech. I would like to actually introduce you to Jessica Finley, who will be able to talk to you about tech support.
Hello, my name is Jess. I am the team lead one of the team leads in the Division of IT. So I work directly with the student employees at our walk-up support desk and in our computing sites department. So a few ways that people always ask how to contact us, where to find us, where can I get help? We have a few different ways that you can reach us. The first way is our online knowledge base. So this is really nice if you have questions that are like, how do I add email to my phone? It's a question that every person on campus is asked at some point in time. And so we have a help article that gives you step-by-step instructions, some quick links to help you along the way, and some other answers to common issues. If that doesn't work out for you, you hit a stump, whatever, you can always reach out to us directly. We are available 7 days a week, either by phone, chat, or walk-up support. So our walk-up support, which is where myself, Aaron, and our chat person today is working, we all help with warranty issues, with hardware repair, with software questions. If you have malware on your computer, if you have just a login issue, we can help with all of those. We do have an Apple certified, Dell certified, and CPS warranty certified representative there, which means that if you have any of those 3 warranties, you can drop your machine off. We will give you a loaner laptop to use while your machine's under repair. And then once it comes back, we'll swap them back out and you're ready to run. We do offer other support as far as hardware repair. So if you don't have one of those 3 warranties, we can do out of warranty repair as well. There is a fee associated with that, but we will do whatever we can to help you. The next thing I want to introduce is our campus resources. So on campus, we have 30 different computing sites that are a combination of classrooms, dedicated computing sites, and even little spots in each res hall where you can use Mac and Windows machines to sit down and complete a task quickly, to print something if your personal computer is not with you, to use a software that's maybe not available on your own computer or maybe is a little too expensive to purchase. And some of our colleges even offer remote access to those computers, like the College of Engineering. You can actually work on those computers specifically from your home. The next thing we have is PrintSmart. So on campus, we have over 100 printers that are scattered across campus in almost every res hall. If there isn't one in your res hall, there's probably one next door to you. And you can print to those printers from any personal computer, from any lab computer. You have a $17.50 print quota that's built into your account. So the first day of the semester, that print quota pops into place and you're able to print. Print jobs on average are like 5 to 6 cents a page. So you get quite a few pages for that $17.50. We do offer 8.5 by 11 and 11 by 17 printing. Awesome. We also have printing services, which is a place that you can order print services for like resumes or large posters. Maybe you have a big presentation or something that you want to print a giant poster out for. They offer that as well. And then lastly, we have 2 and 3 hour loans for laptops. So just like we have the computing sites, we also have laptops that you can go to the Student Center, Memorial, Health Sciences Library, and Ellis, and you can actually borrow those computers for 2 to 3 hours. Or we also offer long-term loan computers, which means if for some reason, the most popular thing is if you have an HP and you have to send your computer off to HP warranty, and in that time, you're not able to get a computer to use to be able to continue your studies, you can come to us. We could see what we can do to help you out, and we can get you a loaner computer to use until your computer comes back from HP. All right, one of the most important things, as Aaron said, is software. So with software, a couple of the things that every student has available to them is a Microsoft 365 account, which includes Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and the biggest thing is 5 terabytes of OneDrive. So that means that everything that you do as a student, from the time you walk into Mizzou to the time you graduate, as far as your classes, you can store in that 5 terabytes of OneDrive. That means when you graduate, you don't have to scuttle around and try to figure out where all 5,000 photos that you took are magically stored on your computer, and try to reduce that back to your personal space and your school space, because you can put everything school in one space. You don't have to worry about it. Additionally, if your computer ever comes in for repair, no stress. You have everything that you ever worked on in the cloud, so you can access it from any computer all over the world. The other thing that every student account has access to is Google, so the Google Workspace. That means you can log into the Google Chrome web browser, and you can actually save all those bookmarks that you use for research, and you can access them also from any computer all over the world. So all of those 5-page articles that you have to research for something, you can do it from grandma's house, or you can do it from here on campus. Just log in and you're set. You do have access to the Google Workspace software as well, so like Sheets and Docs and Drawings as well, which is one of my favorite apps to make posters and stuff with. The last thing is the Software Anywhere suite. So Software Anywhere is designed to give you access to some commonly used softwares that are a little bit on the pricier end. So instead of having to purchase those, you can actually use this piece of software to log in and use it as if you were sitting in front of a computer. Some common ones are like ArcGIS Pro, MATLAB, RStudio, super heavy pieces of software that have a lot of computing power required. So we try to make it a little bit easier, give you a remote access program so that it's not as hectic on your computer. There's a lot of software you guys will use. And keep going with software. You can buy software as well at a really great discount. We actually have one of our probably biggest things that we always see is Adobe. So if you went out on the web right now and bought Adobe, it would be well over $100. We actually offer it to our students through the student license, the entire Creative Cloud suite for $60 for a whole year. We also have VMware, which is a virtual machine. We have SAS, SPSS, which are, I think one's like 75 and one's like 85 for student software. Some of these licenses that we have discounts on are $400. And we are able to get them for student discount, like SolidWorks, for example. I think it's like $85 and it's normally $400 to $600. So huge discounts for you guys. All you have to do to access those is go to missouri.onthehub.com, log in, make your purchase. Your subscription will run annually. For example, on Adobe, it goes from July 22nd till the following year. So you can always log in, grab those great discounts. All right, so one of the big questions that we get asked every year at Move-In is Res Hall gadgets. So we all love our gadgets. We want to make sure that everyone's able to watch all of their shows, Netflix and chill, the whole nine while they're at college. So one of the big questions that we love hate answering because we know it involves money is, what can I bring with me? How can I get my student connected? And what other options do we have if what we have isn't going to work? The biggest thing that I can say is make sure that it has Ethernet. That's the easiest answer to any question. So if it's your Apple TV, it's your actual TV, any device, gaming device, whatever it is, make sure it has an Ethernet port. Every Res Hall room has one Ethernet port per student. You can bring an Ethernet router. That's an Ethernet only router that you can use to plug in more than one device. So if you have a Roku and a gaming system, you can plug both those in. We have much faster Ethernet than we do Wi-Fi. As you can imagine, there's a bunch of students running around on Wi-Fi devices, and Ethernet is going to be a little bit more reliable. So tests and things like that, not a bad idea to take those on Ethernet. We do have a list of approved gadgets on our website, doit.missouri.edu. The biggest ones that we've noticed have Ethernet capability are Apple TV, the Roku Ultra series. There are adapters for Chromecast, the Fire Stick. You do have to buy those from the manufacturer. So go to the manufacturer's website and they have an FAQ page on their, or section on their page. Look at that. It'll link you directly out to what adapter you need to purchase for your device. And then if all else fails, we have Mizzou Cable. Mizzou Cable is great local channels. It is great for games. All of the local games are played on our cable. If you want to watch, one of the most popular ones that we hear about is The Bachelorette. I think every student on campus watches that, and you can watch it on Mizzou Cable. So we always encourage our students to use that resource as well. All you need to hook to it, just make sure that your TV has a QAM tuner. Most TVs nowadays have that already, but you can always check the fine print on the box, double check, and then make sure you bring a coaxial cable with you. All right, so last thing, a couple of questions that we get asked pretty frequently. How much does tech support cost? So general tech support, as I said earlier, is absolutely free. You can ask us any question you want. We will do our best to answer it. We've had some crazy ones like, how many batteries does my microwave take? Yes, I've answered that. And we have some serious ones like, I can't log into anything because my multi-factor authentication isn't working. I got a new phone. So we are there to help through phone, chat, or in person. Come find us, come see us. Next, if I didn't get my device from the Mizzou store, can I still get support? Absolutely. Bring anything to us. We will help you as best we can. How do I know what software I need for my course? This is a big one. At the beginning of every course, your professor is going to give you a syllabus. In that syllabus or somewhere on the Canvas modules page, there is usually a section that says required textbooks, required software. They will typically have a source of where you can get that software from, like Auto Access, for example. Maybe it's on the hub, maybe it's directly from the software provider's website, like AutoCAD, for instance. You go to Autodesk and it comes directly from their website. So always check there first. If that fails, if you're confused, if you still have questions, come find us. We're in the bookstore, we will help you out. What happens if I run out of money on my printing account? Not a big deal. We have a website. It's called tigercardmanager.missouri.edu. It's where you manage all your Tiger Cash and everything else that is on your badge for dining fees and stuff. You can load money to that account. It's basically like a debit card. You can use it all over campus. Every year at the end of the semester, there's a run on microwaves at the Mizzou store. So you can use it to buy a microwave. And you can use that to print. Like I said, it's 5 cents a page. So $25 sounds like a lot, but you can use it to buy soda and snacks and stuff at the Mizzou store. So super easy. I mentioned multi-factor authentication earlier, and we get this question a lot because I personally have to type in a 6-digit code about 23 times a day. We all know that it's a little tedious, but it's so important. the amount of information that's tied to your university account is endless. I mean, the amount of time that you spend here on campus, the life that you live here on campus, all of that's tied to your university account. And we want to make sure that it's secure for you. We want to make sure that you're protected. So as a university, we do our best to make sure that on our side of things, we offer the best amount of security and support that we can. If you have questions about it, if you're having trouble with it, if something's not working, please come ask us. We will never ask you directly for that MFA code. So if you get a text message asking you for it, don't answer. You get a phone call asking for it, don't answer. You get an email, don't answer. No one's going to ask you for that unless it's the app you are actively logging into. But if there's something that feels a little hinky, come see us. We will help you through it. It is absolutely fine. And we love seeing people. So, all right. So next up, I'm going to introduce Greg Kelly, and he's going to walk you through some of our training.
All right, thank you, Jess. Well, greetings, everyone. Again, I would like to welcome you to Mizzou. My name is Greg Kelly, and I serve on the training team here at the Division of IT. And I will be introducing you to some of the online training resources that are available to faculty, staff, and students. Now, some of these resources do include Microsoft Office, Adobe Creative Cloud, and Qualtrics. Now, you can note there at the bottom, when you need IT training, you can schedule a training session via email to mudoittraining@missouri.edu or visit the doit.missouri.edu website and then click on the training link where you can join a live scheduled training session starting back up in September. Now on the next slide, it outlines our training catalog and introduces you to Precipio. So on our DoIT training website, you will find a training catalog link listed in the left navigation bar where you can get more information about Adobe InDesign and Excel, as well as some Qualtrics course materials. On the Precipio website, you will be able to find resources to help assist you in learning on the go. In Precipio, you can access books, courses, and modules to help guide your training and provide opportunities to assist you in your specialized classes. So on this slide, we have an example of cybersecurity. In the cybersecurity image, you will notice that you can watch videos, read documentation, listen to audio recordings, and take practice lab exams to assist you in learning on the go. You can also use the search feature in Precipio to find pre-recorded MU-specific training videos that have been, for example, assigned for you to watch. Here in this example, we have a recorded OneDrive training. Now, Precipio has hundreds of lessons available for faculty, staff, and students on various topics. There are even courses on learning Precipio to introduce you to this web application if you're not familiar with it. The next slide tells us that as a University of Missouri student, as was mentioned earlier, I think Jess mentioned it, you received a Microsoft 365 suite for free. This includes many applications, of which 3 of them I have highlighted here. OneDrive is your private cloud storage, again, where you'll have 5 terabytes of storage. And if you're familiar with Google Drive, it is similar to that. OneDrive can be used to synchronize your desktop data, your documents, and your pictures to the cloud. And because your data is stored in the cloud, you'll be able to access your data from any internet device. The second one I have listed here is Microsoft Teams. Now, Teams is the central hub for communication and collaboration in the Microsoft 365 environment. So within Teams, you can have video conferencing, chat, calendar events, and easily share files amongst groups of people. Now, you might find Teams useful if you are in like a student club or create a study group of class members for your courses. Now, for those of you who really enjoy using Teams, this is something new that's available around the university, and you want to stay up to date on its changes and uses. We do offer a recorded meeting that occurs the second Tuesday of each month at 2, called Team Talk Tuesday. The monthly format is broken into 3 parts. The first part is we go over what's new in Teams because it's ever changing. Then we have a featured application, and finally we do a Q&A. So you can easily join that team with the team code noted here on the slide. The third one I have here is OneNote. If you're not familiar with OneNote, you can think of it as your digital notebook. An example of OneNote is on our next slide here. Here I've created a OneNote notebook called Fall Semester of 2022. Now within this notebook, the top tabs are broken into subjects where I'm taking biology, algebra, and history. And within each subject tab, I can have multiple pages seen here in the right column. You can see in my biology section, I have pages that focus on the history of genetics and another page on carbon. And each page can be unlimited in size, and you can have multiple pages for each subject. So each page can include, for example, links to websites, graphics, LinkedIn embedded videos, PowerPoint course material, and of course, you can annotate right on your page. As I mentioned before, we offer training for all M365 applications that University of Missouri supports. And as a reminder, you can reach us at mudoittraining@missouri.edu or visit the website. Some of our FAQ training slide questions that we had submitted is, how do I download M365? If you want to do this on your own, you can easily go out to just log into office.com and sign in with your university credentials. It's your username at umsystem.edu. Now, if you don't have Teams already installed, you can easily install that to your laptop or desktop by going to aka.ms/get teams, and there's also free apps for your mobile device. How do I access my 5 terabytes of storage? That's a good question. Windows comes with OneDrive, and for your Mac, you can easily download OneDrive. And then you simply just log in with your username at umsystem.edu. And we also encourage you, of course, to get that on your mobile device so you can access those from your phone or your tablets as well. All right. I think we're going to continue on to some questions you have submitted.
So you guys were able to submit some additional questions along the way. And the way we're going to do this, I'm just going to read the question, and whoever's the expert, they're going to give the response. So the first question we have is, can we order a MacBook online, get it configured, and come to pick it up before school starts?
So you can order a MacBook online. We do want the student to come and be with us while we're doing the setup. That setup process requires some sign-ins, which has your password, which no one else should have. So we do want you in person with us so that we can go ahead, move through that, and answer any questions that you have. A lot of times little questions pop up as we're doing the setup, so we're happy to answer those. We are going to have an event during move-in. So the day that you move in the Student Center, there's an event called One Stop Shop. And we are a part of that event, and we will have a whole bunch of tables set up where we're doing computer setup. So you can always come see us then.
For students who are in the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources, what type of laptops would we recommend?
So for Kafner, you're going to be able to look at the Let Your Major Be Your guide that we have, but for they approve Windows devices, but the minimum requirements are Windows 10 with at least 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. It usually has to have an i5 Intel processor. Generally speaking, for Kafner, they actually never really had a hard guideline of what they need to have, so they're pretty open with what you have for options as well. So if you have any questions, additional questions, feel free to come by the store or call us, and we will absolutely take care of you.
My daughter has an HP laptop. What help will she get if needed, since it's not Dell or Mac?
So every computer that comes in, we support it to the best of our ability. So if that means software, hardware, whatever, we can give suggestions. We've had people come in with a battery and said, hey, can you just put this in for us? And we help them out the best we can. Anything that is software, you can come in and see us. You can reach out to us on the phone, or you can chat in, and we'll do the best that we can.
What is the best computer to have for engineering? Will a Mac be okay, at least for freshman year?
So engineering is one of the tougher ones to answer that too, because it really depends on the specific version of engineering you're going into. But some engineering students specialize in iPhone operating system software, which requires Mac OS. Some engineering students work heavily with SolidWorks, which is a 3D design software that requires Mac OS. Generally speaking, you may need Mac, but there are also some like architecture that requires a Windows computer. It just depends on which area of focus they're going to be going for. But for general classes, a Mac should be perfectly fine for freshmen. But we would highly encourage you looking forward into what laptop would suit the specific major within engineering that they're looking at.
What software should I have to help with a biochemistry major?
So in general, like I said earlier, the best thing that you can do is look at the syllabus and look at the professor's recommendations. Every class that you come to is going to have a different set of software required. Some classes you'll walk into will provide you a student version that's absolutely free. So we don't want you to go ahead and purchase that in anticipation and then find out that it's free. So wait until you get to the class. They usually give you a heads up and an explanation of how to obtain the software. And like I said, if you have questions, come see us.
So as students, do we have to go to tech so that we can set up all of our software before school starts, or will we be able to do it ourselves?
So you can set up the majority of it yourself. If you're on campus, you can do all of it. If you're not on campus, the one thing that you're going to miss out on is campus printers. Those have to be set up on the campus Wi-Fi network. Everything else, if you go to the doit.missouri.edu/new student, and then there's a get IT ready for class, go ahead and click on that. You will see some help videos that run you through how to install everything. And the main big things that we install are Zoom, the campus printers, Office 365, and then we encourage you to register your device for MUPD so that if anything ever happens to it, MUPD already has that serial number and some good descriptions of your device.
And so you kind of answered the next question, which is whether you register your devices in case of theft. And so this basically just says go to campus services, to the crime prevention services program tab, and then scroll down to the link that says property registration. The next question is, will students need Microsoft Office, and can it be installed on a higher end Chromebook?
So in general, Chromebooks run Chrome OS, which is not compatible with the downloaded desktop version that you're used to seeing on like Windows or Mac. There is an app version of it. It's not fully capable as far as some of the functionalities. Like if you're familiar with the ribbon across the top in Word, some of those options won't show up there. So we do encourage students to get a Windows or Mac OS operating system device just to make life a little bit easier. You can use, like I said, the app version. You can use OneDrive, you can use Google Drive, you can use Sheets and Docs. Some students are way more comfortable with Sheets and Docs anyways. You have access to that through your university license. The main thing is you won't be able to print, and the Wi-Fi is a little touchy with Chrome OS devices.
So as just said, we have a few events that are coming up. When you're on campus, be sure to stop at the One Stop Shop, happening on August 13th, the 17th, and the 18th from 9 to 5. I believe that's move-in week. So we'd love to see your faces there and to kind of help you work through some of those tech issues that you will need to get you started for the semester. There's also the resource fair that will be on the 19th, which will be also an all-day event where we can meet and greet with you guys, and so you guys can learn a little bit more about what we do. So in between time before you get to campus, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Tiger Tech Sales, email us, or just check out our website. And as Greg said, once you're on campus and you want to schedule some live training, go ahead and do so through the DoIT website, and we'll get you on the schedule. Were there any other questions or things that we want to go over before we end our webinar?
Oh, Brittany, the DoIT team has done a great job of answering the questions that have come in during the webinar, and as well as the questions y'all built into the presentation. So just want to thank you all for taking the time this evening to join us in this webinar series and share your expertise with our incoming students and their family members who are out there. And to those of you who are getting ready to start your Tiger career, thank you for joining us tonight. This webinar is being recorded and it will be available on the New Student Programs website in about 48 hours. Give us a little time to download it and clean it up and make sure the subtitles are all saying the accurate information. For some reason, it just seems to have a really hard time with the word Mizzou. So I'm sure we'll have to retype that probably 700 times for a 45-minute presentation. But with that said, again, we'll send you an email when it's ready. So don't worry too much about, forgetting or having to check many times or what website to go to get the recording of this. But again, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you on campus in August. So have a good evening.